All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're exploring a new and, frankly, provocative way of understanding what it means to be human. I want you to try and forget everything you think you know about biology, about consciousness, because we're about to look at a philosophy that reimagines the self not as some kind of machine, but as a living, breathing symphony of intelligent, resonant systems. For centuries, we've been kind of stuck with this old reductionist view, right? The body as a machine, just a collection of parts. But what if that's just fundamentally wrong? This new perspective asks us to see the body as a symphony, a holistic, self-organizing system where every single part is in constant resonant communication with every other part. It's a huge shift, moving from a worldview of cogs and gears to one of harmony and flow. And at the very heart of this symphony is this incredible concept, the socio-organic community. Just think about that phrase for a second. This isn't just a cute metaphor. It's an entirely new model. It suggests our organs, our neural circuits, they act like members of a living, cooperative society. They're constantly talking, negotiating, self-organizing, all of it, to work toward the well-being of the whole. It basically reframes biology in sociological terms, which is a fascinating leap.
Okay, so if the body is an internal society, how does it talk to the external social world? That brings us to the nervous system. You can think of it as this dynamic bridge, a kind of nexus that connects our inner community to everything happening on the outside. And right at the center of this whole model is one very specific, very important part of our anatomy. We're talking about the vagus nerve. But it's not just seen as a bundle of fibers here. Oh no, it's cast as the conductor of our entire biosocial orchestra, the one orchestrating the harmony between what's going on inside of us and what we're experiencing out in the world. So this conductor works along a spectrum. This idea comes from polyvagal theory, and it means our state of being isn't just on or off. We can be in a state of shutdown, that freeze response, or we can be in a mobilized defense state, fight or flight. Or, and this is the goal, we can be in a state of social engagement, a feeling of safety and connection, all orchestrated by a healthy, well-toned vagus nerve. Now, here's the crucial point. What we call stress gets completely reconceptualized. It's no longer seen as some personal psychological failing. Instead, it's internalized socio-dynamic inflammation. It's the idea that social pressure and discord out there in the world manifest as actual biological inflammation inside our body's community. For any philosophers or sociologists listening, this is huge. It creates a direct, tangible link between societal structures and our physical health. So if our body is this resonant community, what fuels it? And I'm not just talking about calories here. This framework gets into what it calls the alchemy of vitality, the unique mix of material and energetic sources that power this whole incredible system. On the material side, the theory points to two really critical carriers. First, there's structured water. This isn't just plain H2O, it's seen as a liquid crystal, something capable of carrying data and even light. And second, cellular copper, a mineral that is absolutely essential for our mitochondria, the power plants of our cells, to do their job and produce energy. But it goes beyond just the material stuff. The framework also brings in these more esoteric, primordial energies from different traditions. You've got prana, the life force from yogic philosophy that we access through breath. There's orgone, Wilhelm Reich's idea of a cosmic life energy. And even vril, a latent energy that can supposedly be manipulated by thought. These are the deeper currents that are said to animate the whole symphony. Okay, this is where things get really radical. We're now going to explore the idea that our consciousness isn't just along for the ride. It's the programmer. It's actively writing the code for our biological reality. Welcome to the operating system. So, let me introduce you to magical automatics. That's the name for this uber process that basically treats the subconscious as a high-speed neurocomputer. And what's the goal? To automate new skills, to heal the body, to manifest intentions, all while completely bypassing the slow, clunky, and often resistant conscious mind. And the difference in power we're talking about here is just staggering. The sources behind this claim the subconscious processes information at least 1,000 times faster than our conscious thought. I mean, just imagine that for a second. It's this immense, totally untapped resource that we all have, with massive implications for what we can create. So how do we actually use this power? Well, the framework uses this amazing metaphor, command line terminals. The idea is that you can learn to input direct commands into your own psychological operating system to get immediate, profound results.
It's literally like being a coder with access to your own internal source code. Now for the second big programming idea, and it's a beautiful one. It's called theoria, or beauty magic. This is simply the practice of consciously experiencing divine beauty in everything around you. It's proposed as another kind of mystical automatics, a powerful way to harmonize your entire body's symphony and literally rewrite its biological code through the simple act of perceiving beauty. And listen, this isn't just some poetic, abstract idea. It's described with specific mechanics. It's said to work by building new neural pathways for awe and wonder. That's mystical neuroplasticity. It aligns your neurotransmitters to sort of pre-frame your mind to see beauty more easily. And most amazing of all, it aims to trigger positive genetic expression through what's called epigenetic harmonization. This whole concept is grounded in a pretty specific claim about our biology. The idea is that sustained positive emotions, like the awe you get from theoria, can directly influence our epigenetics. This could actually change our DNA methylation marks, which is like rewriting the software that reads our genetic hardware, telling it to focus on repair instead of inflammation. So, where does all of this take us? Let's try to pull all these threads together into one final emergent vision of what the self can be in this new world. This is the culmination of the whole philosophy, the Vitalic Composer. First off, this model completely rejects the idea of a single, solid self. Instead, it talks about the stacked we, a modern identity made up of layers of our different selves, both virtual and physical. It creates what the source calls a multimodal transfinite, a self that is both layered and boundless. It's a really compelling way to think about who we are in this digital age, right? And this stacked we doesn't exist in a bubble. We're all part of what are called holographic tribes. This concept urges us to stop seeing ourselves as these isolated individuals and instead see ourselves as interconnected nodes in a much larger, resonant social network, where the health and vibration of one person truly affects the whole. And that brings us to the ultimate metaphor for this new self. You are the Vitalic Composer. You're a master musician who is no longer just a passive instrument being played by your genetics in your environment. No, you are the one who actively and consciously gets to orchestrate your very own symphony of vitality, of resonance, of being. And the whole goal of becoming the Vitalic Composer is to achieve something called Vitalic Emergence. This is described as this spontaneous eruption of life force, a state of coherence so profound that it can transcend the conventional limits of biological age and even linear time. It's the sound of the symphony playing in perfect, emergent, breathtaking harmony. So, we end with a question that this whole framework really poses to each of us. It essentially hands us the conductor's baton and challenges our deepest beliefs about our own potential. If our reality, our health, our very self, if it's all a symphony that we have the power to compose, then there's really only one question left to ask. What music will you choose to create?